Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, May 15th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this would be a video for you. Real quick, a couple clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will be moving around. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to these videos when the market is still open, because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, GSIT, absolutely monster mover today. Especially from a volume standpoint. You look down here at volume, and I'm not going to say nothing, but essentially very little volume and then just explosion in volume today. So got to think that probably a lot of people will be watching it on Monday. So let's map out some key levels here. So the first level that I think a lot of people will be watching is this general area of resistance right up here at 425. I realize the price did peek its head above that level, but just kind of split the difference here. 425 to me seems like an important level. And then from a support side of things, have a nice little trend line here that you can draw in like that. And then from a pattern perspective, so let me change this to green to just represent the support part of the pattern. And then just from an overall pattern perspective, let's make it one color easier to see. So we have our resistance, we have our support, we have the explosion right there. And then a few golfers out there will put the golf on there, make it a little bit more visual, easy to see. And this will be known as a bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennant patterns, you like stocks down below the $5 range, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, FFIE. Big mover today. I don't remember the last time I did it, but whenever that was, I put that green line down there. And apparently that green line has done a good job. As you can see right there, provided support, and then once again, provided support. So for anybody that watches these videos and, buying down at this area of support that I talked about before, congratulations, you're heading into the weekend very nicely as a big move upwards. So, definitely a great movement there, but let's get some newer levels updated. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this. Actually, I'm going to leave that down there because it's proven to be a very important level just in case it comes into play again. But in more so the near term, key level of support that stands out to me right there. So we'll call it the near term support at 22 cents, and then more so of an overall support down there at 19 cents. But again, near term support right there at 22. In terms of next potential battlegrounds, pretty straightforward here. Just a question of where did the party finally stop today? And that was right up there at 25 cents. And then after 25 cents, I would say a much probably more difficult level and potential. Impossible is not the right word because nothing's impossible, but I would say potentially a very stubborn level would be right up there at that 27-cent mark. So keep an eye on that. But all in all, very impressive movement today. In fact, I'll do it very quickly. Got a little bit of a little bull pennant right there too. I realize pretty bootleg, but you get the idea. General bull pennant right there. So let's see if the price can potentially break out and keep on moving. Next one, BOIL, an ETF, and the whole idea of a watch list is to find interesting situations and not rush out and start randomly buying stuff, but to watch and see what happens. And I would definitely consider this a unique, interesting situation. Huge volume bar right there, big explosion upwards. Yeah, volume has dropped, but now it's created a nice little pattern here. But what really stands out to me is just such a well-defined breakout point. Right there at $3.15, you can see not once, but twice the price got up there and rejected back down. So while I'm not saying it's impossible to break through that level, I'm just saying that you got to think a lot of people are watching that level. And when lots of people are watching the same level and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movement. So no guarantees, but is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price can curl back upwards, get up to that area and then break up through it, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? In my mind, that is a plausible outcome. In terms of levels of support, main level to watch in the very near term is that level right there where you can see the price is just kind of consolidating right here at that $3 mark. But if $3 doesn't quite hold up, then keep an eye on the purple line down there, which on my chart denotes the famous 50-period moving average, currently valued at $2.88. Next one, SPRY, another big mover here, and I like the little consolidation that's occurred after the pullback that happened during that candle, right there. So at this point, things always get sketchy because things start to drop and drop and drop. It's like, oh, great, is this thing going to completely collapse? And that didn't happen. It started to consolidate out, and in doing so has created a nice little pattern here, or at least in my mind. I like the little pattern. And if you agree, then yeah, keep it on your watch list. If you disagree, then hey, no offense taken, just don't put it on your watch list then. But so we have that little bottoming area right there, and then there's this nice little trend line that you can put just like that. And like I said, am I going to say that's like a no-brainer pattern? I'm not going to say that, so I wouldn't say that there would be a potential massive self-fulfilling prophecy, but I do think that a lot of people have noticed this little consolidation period. So people are going to be wondering, okay, can it break out to the upside of that, consolidation? And if it does, well then yeah, you could get another round of momentum. But that's what makes this interesting, because it has already proven back here that when this thing moves, it can move very quickly. Next one, AMC, and another rough day. Not necessarily because it was red, but it just has continued to break down below key areas. So that's where the first update comes into play, because it actually played out perfectly as far as, charting is concerned. And first dynamic is when levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. So going into the day, that level right there at 520 was a key level of support. But when the price broke down below it this morning, you can see the price tried to get above it a bunch of times, just bumped its head on it multiple times. And then as I speak right now, last 30 minutes, give credit where credit's due. Nice little green candle. But I want to get too excited about it until the price can show that it can actually get separation back to the upside from 520. Because you can see, I'm not going to count the number of times. You can just look, but multiple times, it could not get any sort of separation back to the upside from 520. So keep an eye on that. And then just out of my curiosity standpoint, I'm going to continue to keep this trend line in play. So we'll watch that. As far as areas of support are concerned, got to squeeze things down a bit more. Next key level to watch moving forward, it's going to be down there at that area, which sits at $5.05. So got somewhat close right there, but 505 I would definitely consider very important support next week. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and to manage risk, then certainly get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description box. If you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live online class. Next one here, DRMA. Pretty ugly looking pullback, but the key dynamic here is, yeah, there's no doubt about it. This thing has pulled back after that, after it opened up. But from a bigger picture, you got to ask yourself, well, where was it before this? And the price was way down here before it exploded all the way up there. And in considering more so a bigger picture, what we now have is a bull flag pattern. Now, I want to be clear, just as we mentioned earlier about bull pennant patterns, just because a pattern is bullish does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. But it's at least worth keeping an eye on, especially if you like these sorts of patterns. So guarantees, no. But is it plausible? Is it valid to think that if the price were to come back up to the top part of that bull flag pattern and get a break up through it, that break in of itself could create additional buying pressure? In my mind, that is certainly a certain possible scenario, especially when you look at the volume. And as any volume, analysis textbook will tell you, when you see pullbacks and such, you want to see volume drop off, and volume has really, really dropped off quite a bit. So you combine the volume analysis, you combine the bull flag pattern, and if you like stocks down below $5, might be worth keeping an eye on. Next one here, PLTR, and overall, things are just fine. In fact, it's holding up stronger than what I thought it would. When I put this green line in a couple days ago, I thought, if that green line's violated, probably going to be a relatively quick move or drop down of that green line there. And at that point, I was willing to concede. But at that point, yeah, not really sure what it would look like. But, I got it wrong. It broke the green line, and it's just been kind of a slow and steady little pullback on a lower volume, which we just talked about is a good thing. So overall, I would say that things are looking strong. Sure, preferably speaking, best case scenario, the price holds above that green line right there, but you don't always get the best case scenario. But overall, big picture, the thing is still perfectly fine. It's still, as you can see here, much higher than where it was. So overall, and those comments, that green line was just in a very short-term point of view. In fact, from a bigger picture point of view, if you want to talk about things from a, like I said, broader scope of things, and I'm doing this very crudely here, but got yourself essentially a broader picture bull pennant pattern. So yes, the price is pulled back. Yes, if you're a day trader and your goal is to buy and sell within 10 minutes and you bought right there, the chart's looking really bad for you. But assuming you do care about the bigger picture point of view, things look just fine. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and a brutal day from a narrow picture point of view. And I say that because from a broader picture, everything is actually still fine. But I do understand the potential perspective if you are some sort of day trader, what have you, and you were buying up around here on the gap up, thinking that this thing was going to continue on. Hopefully you had a stop loss because this thing completely rolled back over. In fact, today is what I would just simply call a gap and trap. So is a gap and trap bad? Yes, but keyword being today, as in one day. Looking at multiple days, so squeezing things down, you can see that overall, the chart is just basically chopping around. But the key is, well, where did it chop around last time? Well, it chopped around right here. And I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but you can very clearly see that this chopping around time is higher, location-wise than that. So in other words, if I just put in some lows here, so we have lows there, we have lows there, we have lows there, and if you envision those stair steps, big picture-wise, stair steps are still plenty fine. But I do also fully admit that, yes, if you're a day trader that bought right there, then you really don't care about these stair steps because you're looking at this chart from a very different strategy and, viewpoint standpoint. So overall, though, that level down there at 166.50 continues to looking like it might be coming into play next week. I didn't quite hit it today, but got very, very close when it was, kind of hovering around down around there. But that remains that key area of support. And then resistance-wise, really nothing has changed. This level right here at 170 is back to being an area of resistance. And then if the price fights through, 174 is, back to being a level of resistance also. Because, at one point, the price was up above all these, but because today was a gap and trap, those levels have gone right back to being an area of resistance. Next one here, AMD, and I didn't structure it this way, but I'm noticing kind of a theme here now is that, today, not the greatest day, but overall, this chart is perfectly fine, assuming you're not a day trader that was buying right there or right there. Who knows, even if you bought this morning right there, had a pretty rough pullback there. But from the grand scheme of things, all you have, and this is one of these levels where you got to think, I think this carries quite a bit of weight in terms of potential self-fulfilling prophecies, because you can do that, and then at the same time, you can grab essentially a parallel line, which you can see me do right there. I mean, so that's a perfect sideways channel, right? I didn't put any angles to those lines or exact mirror image of one another. So you can see this downwards channel that has formed. But as I mentioned on the earlier one, sure, it's a downwards channel the past couple of days, but what was going on before this downwards channel? Well, you had this, big overall movement up like this. So again, I realize bootleg looking, but essentially just a big picture bull flag pattern. But like I said, got to think a lot of people have drawn in that top part at least. So if this thing can creep back upwards and get the bull flag breakout, no guarantees, but self-fulfilling prophecies and people with liking to play those patterns, you got to think that could be a very interesting level. If the price does roll back over, then you know what? Maybe you're looking at some sort of potential retest and then bounce off of that lower trend line. So definitely a lot of different ways you can approach this, but that's where it just goes back to whatever your personal strategy and risk tolerance is. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So when the NASDAQ market has a good day, this one also has a good day. And as I speak right now, very, very nice late afternoon action. I mean, essentially straight up. But the problem is that before that, movement was occurring. Very, very big pullback here. And this will mean a bit more to those of you that watched yesterday's video. But I put in that green line. And, that's what I expected to happen with PLTR. That green line, remember, on PLTR broken. And for it to go down relatively quickly to the secondary green line. And that happened here. And then it even broke below it. So right there, you can see the rising wedge came into play. And then the price pulled back more. What I'm going to do here is adjust this area of support because now that we have more data, it's looking like the more so truer level of support at this point, right there around $28.18, as that's, very clearly where the buyers finally stepped in right here. But again, got to give credit where credit's due. Has had a nice recovery since then, and now it's just really a question of can it get back up there. And I'm going to leave that trend line in place because as of now, including this morning, it's provided a very good kind of indicator where there could potentially be some selling pressure. But all in all, big picture considered, pulled back today. Today was essentially a gap and trap, but the price is still putting in higher lows from a bigger picture point of view, and that's by far what matters most. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live class. It'll be next week, Thursday, May 18th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So I hope to see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment below, say hi, just type a number. Tell me a ticker symbol that you traded today or that you're watching next week. But those things help out the videos, help out the channel. And as long as I know that you are enjoying, I'll continue to put in the effort to get this content out to you. So again, get signed up for that free class. Take care. Have a great weekend.